Eastern Armenian is one of the two standardized forms of Modern Armenian, the other being Western Armenian. The two standards form a pluricentric language. Eastern Armenian is spoken in the Republic of Armenia, Nagorno-Karabakh Republic as well as Georgia, and by the Armenian community in Iran. Although the Eastern Armenian spoken by Armenians in Armenia and Iranian-Armenians are similar, there are pronunciation differences with different inflections. Armenians from Iran also have some words that are unique to them. Due to migrations of speakers from Armenia and Iran to the Armenian diaspora, the dialect is now very prominent in countries and regions where only Western Armenian was used. It was developed in the early 19th century and is based on the Yerevan dialect. Distinguishing the two forms of Armenian, Eastern Armenian and Western Armenian are easily mutually intelligible. They share the same ISO 639-1 code high. The ISO 639-3 code for both is high. The Armenian Wikipedia is coded high and is largely Eastern Armenian. Commercial translations are generally done into Eastern Armenian, the official language of the Republic of Armenia. Phonology. Vowels. Monophthongs. Eastern Armenian has 6 monophthong vowel sounds. Consonants. This is the Eastern Armenian consonantal system using symbols from the International Phonetic Alphabet, followed by the corresponding Armenian letter in parentheses. The phonology of Eastern Armenian preserves the classical Armenian three-way distinction in stops and affricates, one voiced, one voiceless and one aspirated. Compare this to the phonology of the Western Armenian language, which has kept only a two-way distinction, one voiced and one aspirated. A few exceptional Eastern Armenian words contain voiced stop letters pronounced as voiceless aspirated stops, like Western Armenian. For instance, bullshit. Not other examples are orthography. The Eastern Armenian language is written using either traditional Armenian orthography or Reformed Armenian orthography. The controversial Reformed orthography was developed during the 1920s in Soviet Armenia and is in widespread use today by Eastern Armenian speakers. In the Republic of Armenia, Eastern Armenian speakers in Iran continue to use the traditional orthography. Nevertheless, writings of either form are mutually intelligible, since the difference between the two orthographies is not large. Morphology. Pronouns. Armenian has TV distinction, with used informally and capitalized as the polite forms. Nouns. Eastern Armenian nouns have 7 cases, one more than Western Armenian. They are nominative, accusative, genitive, dative, ablative, instrumental and locative. Of the 7 cases, the nominative and accusative, with exceptions, are the same, and the genitive and dative are the same, meaning that nouns have mostly 5 distinct forms for case. Nouns in Armenian also decline for number, but do not decline for gender. Declension in Armenian is based on how the genitive is formed. There are several declensions, but 2 are the most used. 2 notes. First, notice that the ablative form in Eastern Armenian is it-s, where it is e in Western Armenian. ABL, SG, each rat-s. Second, notice that in Western Armenian, the plural forms followed the u declension, while in Eastern Armenian the plural forms follow the I declension. Gen. Place wa each rin-re. Articles. Like some other languages such as English, Armenian has definite and indefinite articles. The indefinite article in Eastern Armenian is me, which precedes the noun mi-rki. The definite article is a suffix attached to the noun, and is one of 2 forms, either e or n, depending on whether the final sound is a vowel or a consonant, and whether a following word begins with a vowel or consonant. Per meter rde, rin, but, per second mrdn, per second rin. Adjectives in Armenian do not decline for case or number, and precede the noun. Lvrki. Verbs in Armenian are based on two basic series of forms, a present form and an imperfect form. For this, all other tenses and moods are formed with various particles and constructions. There is a third form, the preterite, which in Armenian is tense in its own right, and takes no other particles or constructions. The present tense in Eastern Armenian is based on two conjugations. In Eastern Armenian, the distinct conjugations in E and I merged as E. The present tense is made by adding the present tense of linal after the present participle form of the verb jskrdmmerki, jsiramemjdurki. Bibliography. Dora Sakayan. Eastern Armenian for the English-speaking world. A contrastive approach. Yerevan State University Press.